Here I've got the Vevor 5.5 gallon per minute RV pump, 12 volts, 17 amps, as you can see there. Stock pressure is 7 psi. That's your cutout pressure. So it'll probably go 55, 60 psi for the cut in and 70 for cut out, and that's adjustable up to 100 psi. The problem is at 17 amps, which it really does draw, this switch will get hot. The wiring handles it, even though it's not beefy wiring, but the switch itself is just barely hanging in there at that temperature. And now this pump will only run for 15 minutes anyway, because the motor itself will, once it gets hot enough, it'll start to cycle on and off. And but the switch itself just gets crazy hot even in that 15 minutes. Probably even less than that, really. I mean, you can start to smell it. But it's thermoplastic and it does hang in there. So it works fair. And over enough time, though, eventually you get a little deformation and the switch tends to get stuck in the off position. I've got 3 of these pumps and it's happened to all of them. So I'm going to talk about how to fix the switch once it gets into that condition, and I'm going to talk about how to keep it from getting hot in the first place. So to get in there, the first thing is take this stainless screw out. Now you have access inside here. You can see your pressure adjustment in the middle, your bypass valve adjustments on the bottom. If you tighten this down, it's going to not use the bypass valve, so maybe you'll pump a little more water with, but it's not going to cut out as smoothly, maybe make a lot more noise. And if you loosen it, you're going to use more bypass valve. It's going to be more smooth, but it'll take longer to get the job done, and it's wasting energy because it's recirculating water basically. So in its stock setting, you know, it works just fine. You don't need to adjust that. But if you start having problems at some point, maybe, you know, if you can't get your pump functioning correctly, you might need to loosen that a little bit. All right, so the next thing is, you can see that the 2 connections are soldered here to the bottom of the switch, and the 2 stainless screws on the outside, that removes the switch from the body, the actual switch from the housing of the body of the pump. All right, here's the switch removed from the body. You can see the gasket in the background there. That's actually going to be what pushes, it puts pressure on the back of this and activates the pressure switch. So basically, to get the inner part of the switch from the housing, you have to get to the 4 corners and pry your way in with a small flat screwdriver. Right here, this corner, and down here in this corner. I've never been able to do it without making a mess out of the thing, so I don't worry about it. Just go ahead and do what you gotta do. Get in there and wiggle that thing out. And here's the inside of the switch itself. You have a little spring and a little collar on the top. That collar should be convex. If you get this thing falls out, you need to know which way the little piece of metal there goes. It goes like convex like that. That way the plunger can fit down the middle of that. And when you're tightening your pressure setting, that's what it's pushing on. And when the water pressure comes from the other end, it's going to push in this way. The actual activator for the switch is up here in the corner, back there in the top corner, that little white piece. That's actually what pushes on the switch, and here's the switch itself. This little clicky guy right here in the corner. So the next thing is to work the top off of the switch. That's this piece right here. And you can probably just get that off with your fingers. That'll pop right out. Then you can see inside the switch itself. So when I activate, you can see there's a little tiny copper spring of some kind, which surprisingly still functions despite having been so hot. But you can imagine trying to put, 20 amps through this tiny little switch, and all the heat comes from right here where the contact is. And if you start to get oxidation from, that little plastic underneath, as it's burning a little bit, it's gonna, there's, all the VOCs and all the particulates are trapped inside there, and over time they accumulate in between these contacts, and it just gets hotter and hotter. So what I've found is that, I'm going to try to get my screwdriver to show you exactly where the problem is here. Alright, so it's right here between this is when it's on the off position. When there's a lot of pressure, it's going to push this in, and this is going to click over into the off position, and it gets stuck there because there's a tiny piece of plastic that's building up between it right here. So I take my flat screwdriver and I scrape down right between these two and get that little lip of plastic out of there. And once I do that, now I get nice action from the switch. And now we're gonna do something. I'm gonna show you an option that you can use to get I'll get all that current out of this switch, so that this switch can use a relay, and it'll only be handling a small amount of current. And from that point, it'll never get hot again, and it's never gonna corrode and never gonna build up that plastic layer again. So, but this is one way you can do a quick fix, is just get in there with your screwdriver and scrape away some of the plastic. You can kind of see where it builds up like a hump underneath this part of the switch. And that's solved it for all 3 of my pumps that have had that problem of being stuck off. Now I'm going to show you how to do the relay so that you can wire in. It's just a regular 12 volt 30 amp relay to take all the stress off of this little switch. Alright, so this is the 12 volt relay I got on Amazon. I'll put a link for you guys down below. And this is a 30 amp 12 volts. And basically you have a socket, and then you have your actual module itself. The legs are lined up in such a way that you can't mix it up. So basically you can just forget about that. You don't need to really focus on that right now. The trick is here, how to wire it. I made myself a little cheat sheet here. So the trigger is the wire that goes to the switch. The trigger itself is hot. So it's really just, it's a positive and a positive going to the switch, and the switch is interrupting the positive wire. So this black wire goes to the positive trigger. That would be this wire. So basically you go underneath the pump. What I like to do is I go under the pump and I actually cut that wire and interrupt it, and then I extend it, because the way that this thing is wired, you do need to tap into one of these, and this is the one, and it's going to make it a little too short. So I actually extend it using a wire nut so that I can have it reach out to the relay harness better. And the red wire is going to actually serve the power to the pump. So that goes from basically from the red on the harness to the red that goes into the back of the motor. That's this wire here. The white wire is the ground, so that's going to be 3 wires tied together. The ground coming out of the back of the pump, the ground coming from the power source of the battery itself, and the white wire coming off of the harness. And the blue wire is going to be taking the power directly from your power source. That's just your positive wire coming, that's feeding power to the system. So basically what this thing is going to do, it's going to take that blue wire and take the power in, and it's going to wait for the signal from the trigger, and when that sends a signal to close, then it'll serve power from the red wire into that motor. And that's pretty much it. That's how it works. I have some pumps that actually come with built-in relays to help protect the switch, especially when you're dealing with something like 20 amps. I have like a 7 gallon per minute on-demand RV pump that has that built-in feature, and it's great. It really does make this thing more reliable, so it's worth the trouble to go through this wiring. Now it's going to be, you can do your best to try to make it pretty. I haven't really succeeded in making mine pretty, but with a little bit of zip ties and wraps, you can try to keep everything bundled up tight. And if you need a waterproof situation, then you have to use waterproof connections, of course, depending on where your pump is mounted. But generally, the pump probably shouldn't be getting exposed to water and humidity if you can avoid it as much as possible. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and post up comments, questions. Let me know if you guys have ever done this or if you're going to do it to your pump. And you might be able to bring some of these pumps back to life. You can get these pumps for like $55 on Temu last I checked. And I think they ship from the US, so you get it for a reasonable price. There's probably coupons and things you can use to get it even cheaper. Or you can order it directly from Vevor too, and they probably have models that are just like this that aren't going to be the same name brand as Vevor, but it's shaped exactly the same, has the same specs, and you can find stuff like that out there too. Alright guys, good luck, have a good one.